Hi, good morning. Today we have with us Sahil Agarwal. Hi, Sahil.
Hi everybody. Hi. Really nice to be here. Really excited to be here.
I'm so glad, Sahil, that you could join us today. And like I was telling you a few minutes back, it's incredible that you're taking time out on your holiday to talk to high school students and, address their dilemmas. So thank you once again for being with us today.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure. And not at all. I've been here. I've been there when I was 11 and 12, in class 11 and 12. And I know how, paranoid parents can be, how paranoid students can be, and some of the queries which, all of them have. So I am just so happy to address them. So happy to even, anywhere in the process, if I can help, I'm just so glad.
Thank you so much once again. And, to my audience, I would like to say that Sahil has recently graduated from the Kelley School of Business. He went on to major in 3 subjects. And, Sahil, I would want you to introduce these majors. And the first question that I would throw in here is exactly how you went about selecting these 3 very unique majors and how exactly did you discover these interests?
Absolutely. So for everybody, I majored in marketing, information systems, and business analytics. And to be very honest, I didn't even know what information systems was when I came to Kelly. So the entire process was basically I am going through classes and I'm discovering it on the way. So I had nothing figured out, when I was just joining college. My first major and my most favorite major, if you'd call it, is marketing. So in my sophomore year of college, I just stumbled upon this course called consumer behavior. And that course blew my mind. Like that course, there are some courses which, you like, and there's some courses which, absolutely you're like, what am I actually learning? And that was one of the courses for me. It made
Yeah.
me realize that everybody, no matter who you are, everybody makes emotional and irrational decisions. Even if you spend 1 hour thinking about a decision and you think that you're doing it logically, you aren't. There is some amount of emotion in there. And they've taught me techniques, and I've learned about techniques which make you can influence minds very easily if you know those techniques. It's literally like
Yes.
it's as simple. It's literally very similar to hypnotism. With the correct cues, with the correct techniques, I can make you buy what you want to buy. If there are 2 products, I can make you purchase the more expensive product. And these are things which happen everywhere. Like,
Yep.
for example, I am one person who drinks Starbucks every day when I can make the same coffee at home, but I still do it. So, these are, again, this is just one brand and one very common example, but there are so many examples. And that is what I loved. I never thought that, there's this side of marketing. I thought marketing is just, digital marketing and going and, just dabbling away with, reels and clicks. But that is just one very small part of marketing. The main part of marketing is understanding how people think. Why do you purchase what you purchase?
Yeah.
And that is what made me fall in love with marketing. So that is what my base was. And then I soon realized that, everybody has a lot of data points on them. What do you like? What time do you sleep? What time do you eat? What do you eat for breakfast? How many children do you have? So many data points do you have, which companies use to personalize or curate whatever experiences they have for you.
Yep.
What you're
Data is
looking.
king.
Data skin, absolutely. So you're talking to somebody today and you see that on Amazon the other day or something like that. We've all had these examples.
Yeah.
And these personal curations are because of the major data points which people have or companies have on you. And for that, data is a huge part of marketing. And that is something which I soon realized that, for me to actually be able to really make a difference in marketing, I need that data background for me to be able to analyze and aggregate that huge amount of data which companies have. So, which is why I went ahead with information systems and business analytics to have this very good, nice cocktail of majors so that I have this niche. The niche is called consumer insights, where I
Yes.
understand what the person and what their entire personality profile is, and using that then you can basically figure out what are the taste and preferences, and you can predict stuff which even they don't know about, that what they like, what they don't like. You can do it much more accurately than what even they think that they like. So it's an amazing world.
Yeah, Sahil, I don't think you know this, but my 2 exact majors in college were information systems and marketing.
Oh, damn.
Can you
That's very
believe it?
sweet.
We're two marketing and information systems specialists, so to say, talking to each
That's
other.
insane.
And, when I was in school, I went to modern high school, I was studying science, and I used to love computer science coding. I had no idea that there was something called consumer behavior out there. I had no
Mhm.
idea, what goes on behind, making great ad films, right? It's more than just the
Absolutely.
beauty on the screen.
Absolutely.
And my question to you here is, when you were back in school and today you know this term consumer insights and the fact that you're specializing in this area, but back in school, did you A, know about this, B, did you see yourself majoring in these subjects at all?
Mhm. So the simple answer is absolutely not.
Okay.
And the reason is that I had no idea that I'm going to major in marketing or information systems. As I mentioned, I didn't even know what the subject was. And
Correct.
the plain reason, and for people who are actually very anxious that, I really want to choose what major should I go in with college, I would say st- try to, curb the temptation of doing that. Because when you're in 11 and 12, firstly, you don't know that many professions out there. If I ask you right now, if you're in 11 and 12, I ask you how many professions do you know, you'll probably mention 30, 35, doctor, engineer, the very common ones. You don't know all the professions out there for you to choose. So you're choosing from a very small bucket and you're kind of choosing blindly. So the
And
beauty of
even
the
if you know these terms, we know the overarching terms, we don't know what it really entails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't, you're anyways not going to go and shadow 30, 35 people from different professions. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes no, it's not even possible for you to do that. So today you don't know how the field is. Do you like it or not? Do you like the subjects in it or not? There's so many things which you don't know. And that is where the US education comes in. That is the
Correct.
entire beauty of it, is especially at Kelley, every student at Kelley, no matter what major they have, the first 2 years all have to take the same courses, be it business, be it law, be it accounting, be it finance, be it social strategy, you name it, and everybody has to take that courses. After that, you get the um, opportunity to decide what your major should be. And I think that is where you're making a very educated decision. You have explored all the fields, you know what field you like. Some people hate business law, corporate law. Some people love corporate law. Some people
Hate
fall in love with
category.
you hate category.
Yeah.
Some people love accounting, some people hate accounting, and that is the process of elimination, that you figure out that this is something which I don't want to do, this is something which I'd love to explore more. And then once you're in that major, there are much more things in that major that you can go into. For example, marketing. You've got marketing and sales, you've got digital marketing, you've got consumer insights, you've got research. There are so many avenues which are not possible for you to know as someone who's 17 or 18, because you've never explored those fields. So even with parents, and even with students, I like, for example, for a student, I understand that every parent comes and asks you, beta, what major do you want to do, or what do you want to be? Tell them that I don't know what I want to be, and that is what my advantage is right now, that I'm keeping myself open, I'm keeping my options open, so that later on I can go and choose and make a more educated decision, that this is what I like and this is what I don't like. So yes, those are my 2 cents on that.
Absolutely, Sahil. So students and parents, out there who are listening to us right now, every time we speak about the US education, the thing that comes to the forefront is this ability to explore and be flexible, with our choices.
Absolutely.
Sahil, did you, when you were in your first year, did you just sit in on some classes casually to just experiment, explore? Tell us about that, very exciting first year of yours. I would love to know a little bit more about this discovery process of yours.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So again, we are allowed to choose some class. There's some classes in our curriculum, and then there's some classes which we can just take randomly. So
Yes.
so those are classes. They are called electives, and they ultimately count towards your major. But you are free to take whatever class that you want. So consumer behavior was actually one of the classes. Because I wasn't a marketing major then, that was just one elective that I just happened to take, and that is again that a major that made me chose um my major. And then the other class was Python. So Python was a class again for someone who was very new to coding. Coding is something which is very fascinating. Later on, you understand that it's a bit boring sometimes, but initially it's very fascinating. You're this hoodie, and it's a very genetic perspective, but that is the perspective that I had. So I was like, I really want to try it out, and I really want to learn a new language. So that's where I went into learning Python, and it was a completely different experience, completely different field. That how do you think? Because the way you think and the way computer thinks is very, very different. So exploring that, how do they think, and things were very logical. That everything that you do has a lot of logic behind what you do, and that's something which again I really loved. And basically, I was using Python to analyze data. So the same thing that you can do in Excel, you can also do it with Python, and that is something
Yeah.
which I was like, oh, this is so cool. So again, that made me realize that coding is something which I really like to do. Even
Yeah.
not if not become a hardcore coder, but at least understanding the different languages, that later on, if I ever need some experience, if I'm opening my own company, I should know what people are doing in my company. So which is
Yeah.
why learning these languages is very helpful. So that is how I stumbled upon that. The fun one, I'll tell you. So again, you've got these different electives, and might as well. So I have done acting, I have done
Wow.
I have done guitar, and I have taken 2 courses in psychology. So at that point in time, you asked me what nerve and what brain controls what. Now I've forgotten it. By that time, I could tell you what happens what, and these different experiments and stuff. The one thing which I really believe in is that you don't know what knowledge will help you win. So just take in whatever knowledge you have, and some way or the other it helps you. The knowledge in psychology has really helped me in consumer behavior. The knowledge in acting anyways makes me very much more confident in
Yeah.
whenever I'm talking, whenever I'm meeting people, etc. So just, even if you're a business major, whatever major you are, try to explore other fields. Even take just one class. Take one class in bowling, take one class in billiards, just something. These are fun classes to take. You don't know when you'll get the opportunity to take these classes. So make the most out of these experiences, is what I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. And isn't that exactly why you've gone so far away from home, to be able to
Exactly.
make the most of these experiences? So while you were talking about consumer behavior information systems, learning Python for the first time, I couldn't help but wonder what your high school subjects were,
Mhm.
because generally try to kind of make it all fit,
Yeah.
when we go to college, but most of the times it doesn't work like that. So what were your subjects in school, if you still remember?
Yes, no, I definitely still remember. So, just a bit of background. I am from a doctor background, and I have in a family of 6, 4 of them are doctors. So, I've anyways, seen my dad coming home at 3 a.m. in the morning, this and that. So, anyways, I was a bit I was like, maybe the doctor route is not for me. And
Yeah.
after that, I class 9 and 10, I loved bio, I loved physics, but chemistry was one subject I hated from the bottom of my heart. I don't know, there's not a single subject that I hate that much, that I hate chemistry, because it's just gibberish. It's
All
gibberish
right.
to me. So that is the reason why I was like, I really want to take commerce in 11, 12. And that was also one major dilemma that I had, because this is one very common thing which a lot of people come across, is that take science वरना option कम हो जाएंगे. That is one thing which a lot of people say, and to some extent is very true, that if you take science you can jump back into business, but if you take business you can't end up being a doctor or a lawyer. But for me, I was very sure that I want to do something in business, and that business, like learning commerce, learning economics, learning accounts, something which I love doing. And if I love doing, I don't want to fall into the pressure of doing science when I know that this is something which I really want to pursue. So I was like, I'll go ahead with commerce. And in commerce also, one of my favorite subjects was economics. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to really pursue a lot of economics in Kelley. Like economics ideas come everywhere in whichever class you're in, but not specific, like huge economics classes there. But those were my subjects: commerce, accounts, maths, economics.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love those subjects. I really enjoyed my time in 11 and 12 learning what I did. So yes, no regrets.
Okay, so again, two questions over there. How did you convince your parents who are doctors that you don't want to take up science and you want to take up commerce? What was the conversation like then? And point number two, while going into Kelley, did you think that you would probably come out with an economics major and, it turned out to be something else?
Absolutely. So yes, as anybody would assume, the conversation was a bit tough sometimes. That you don't want to become a doctor, but the main thing that I had was, I would rather be a very good businessman than a shitty doctor. So
All right.
it's not like, if I had to study and if I had to complete my MBBS, I am someone who loves working. I'm a workaholic. I love studying, and I love learning new things. It's not like I wouldn't have learned and I wouldn't have passed my MBBS. I would have probably ended up becoming a doctor, but that's not something which I would love doing. And I know that I am someone who has watched Shark Tank my entire life. I'm someone who has read business books my entire life. I am someone who looks up to people like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and all of the people who are common, famous people, or even not famous. So a lot of people who I look up to, and I really wanted to be someone like that, and have my own product someday, which millions of people are using. Solve a problem which actually is a need for a lot of people. And if I had that vision in mind, I explained that vision in mind that, it might not, like a business degree might not be as rock solid as a doctor degree, because, a doctor is more of a hard skill degree. But I was like, it's something that I love doing, and I'll be happy. It's like this 3 days dialogue, which Farhan goes and tells his dad. That's pretty much how it was.
No, that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. And I think you really, really made the most of your time in college. And, the other question was,
Yeah.
did you go in thinking about major X and you came out with majors ABC? Or did you somewhere know that, maybe marketing could be one of those things?
So actually, it's a bit funny that the major that I was going in was entrepreneurship. So
Ah,
I felt that, entrepreneurship, because anyways I want to do entrepreneurship, so let's do a degree in entrepreneurship, and everything is going to be like, straight cut out for me. But again, this is just personal opinion. But what I realized is that over my time talking to people there, talking to people who are again in the profession of entrepreneurship, it is something which is a bit tough to teach. It is something which can't be taught. And I felt that somewhere I also need to have something in my degree which is a bit more of a hard skill. So it's
yeah.
something which is easier for me to convince people that, if I'm going into corporate job or something, I can convince people that I know stuff. How do you convince someone right now, if I've just graduated college? How do I convince someone I know entrepreneurship? It's not possible.
Yeah.
But today, if I'm going into a corporate career, and this is something which every recruiter will tell you, entrepreneurship is a great side major to have, but it's not one major that you can bank on for any degree that you want to have. And getting out of college, I don't know why, if I just start a business right there. So, I
Yeah.
needed to have something which I have hardcore skills in, that today, if I go into the workforce, I have skills which they need and they value. So I can actually bring something to the table. So which is why I ended up choosing like data analytics and marketing, and making sure that, I have this specific niche. Again, some choosing careers like, again, CS, try to go into a bit of a niche, because data analytics is something which almost every, Tom, Dick and Harry does. So it becomes very tough for you to, a lot of people are competing for the same jobs if you're going into the job market. A job like consumer insights, not that many people are competing for it. No, because not that many people actually know that a job like this exists. So that
Sure.
is where it becomes very easy for me. And I have this niche because not everybody in my batch actually, has tailored the resume for it. I've tailored my resume such that, this is what my job is, and I am overqualified for this job in, 1 or 2 is, if somebody asks for like 0 years of experience, I have it. So that basically.
Fantastic, fantastic. So what I'm hearing from you, Sahil, is a lot of things that you probably did not know while starting out. You were sure
Absolutely.
that you want to be in this, space of innovating, creating new things in the space of business, but you got to define it. You got to understand yourself
Understand it.
better, understand how maybe entrepreneurship, to be an entrepreneur, you don't need a degree in entrepreneur. Let's, get skills ABC. So students, what I would like to state here is that let's not panic right now in 11th and 12th. If we are looking at a flexible curriculum in the US, let some magic even happen on campus. That is
Exactly.
exactly why
Absolutely.
we're going so far away. It's in fact sometimes better to go with an open mind and, let ourselves discover new things. On the contrary, if we already have pre-decided everything, how do we make use of the rich resources there?
Exactly. And just to add on that, if you feel that, freshman year is late for you to change your majors, I know so many people who have changed their majors in their third year.
Third
That
year.
the next year is when they're graduating and they still haven't taken their major related classes. I have seen people changing majors like they're changing clothes. Like, this like every 3 months I ask them, what's your major? They changed their major. And that's the way it is. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because you're nobody knows and nobody has the right answers. It's a constant state of, figuring out what's best for me and what's not best for me. So, that's what you should be doing. And yes, basically that's all you need to do. Even the one thing which I feel that, again, even if you're not sure that you actually want to go into business or you want to go into design, if you're like, some people have a vague idea, some people don't have a vague idea. Even for that, you've got liberal arts colleges, which are again fantastic for you to understand, because there, instead of going into different fields in business, you're going into all the different fields.
Correct.
So it becomes again, you're having a much more wide range of, experiences. And that is something, again, even if you're a business major, somewhere in design, something is going to help you. Even if you're learning, I don't know, botany, somewhere something always clicks, and somewhere these are things which, you don't know when they're going to help you. So
yeah, they
they're
only
always
make
good.
sense retrospectively. We
Absolutely.
can't see what's coming next. And Sahil, this input of yours helps me segue into the next question. You brought in liberal arts college. You obviously went to a business school. Now, during your time there, did you meet with people from different colleges, different kinds of colleges, and what did you learn about your fit? Do you feel you landed up in the right school, in your right fit, when you looked at other colleges and students at other colleges?
Absolutely. So I feel that Kelley was the best decision I've made, and I couldn't be more happy making that decision. A bit of a background. So firstly, I was very in class 11 and 12, everybody used to talk about, like, every college counselor, every career counselor used to talk about fit. And I was like, this, I don't get this fit concept. The top 5 or 6 universities, if I get into that, I'll fit into something or the other. So that is what fit is. Like, if somebody talks about fit, they just don't want me to feel sad if I get into a not very well ranked college. So I don't I don't understand this concept of fit. And I can't tell you how wrong I am there. And the problem is, it's very tough for you to understand unless and until you're in college how much fit matters. Fit is not, especially even at Kelley, there are a lot of my friends who are at, like, almost every college, every good college out there. I have friends in Boston, LA, all of them, and I see them, I talk to them. Some people are very happy with the college that they have. Some people are not very happy with the college that they have. The problem is, what metric are you choosing your college on?
Yep.
For example, even at Kelley, your education is again a very small part of your college experience.
Yes.
Where you stay, what you eat, what is the weather like, how many people are there, there's so many things which you need to account for. And that one ranking of, is it 7th or is it 8th or is it 10th or is it 15th, that cannot fully justify, or that can't fully show how your experience is going to be. So that is one thing which, there are few people who just aren't happy there, because they it's not the fit that they were choosing. So the main thing which I would ask everybody is that, really ask yourself the question, what kind of a college am I looking at, and what kind of a person am I? Am I a person who wants a lot of people like I do? You want to meet new people every single day, so you go to 30,000 a person college like me? Or do you want a closed-in friend group, so you can go to small colleges like, probably Emory or some, those small colleges there? Do you want a college in a city, or do you want a college in a town? City has its own benefits. In a college in a city, you've got, everything in a city.
Yeah.
A college in a town is beautiful. I haven't seen anything more beautiful than my campus. I'll put it right out there.
Yeah.
And the one benefit is that, this is something which my mom told. Again, for the people who are in cities, amazing. But this is what my mom told me, and this is something which I feel makes a lot of sense, is that your entire life you need to be in a city anyway. So while you're in college, explore a college town maybe, and you might actually like it. So it's obviously not as hustling and bustling as a city, but it has its own charm, and you tend to grow on that charm the more you stay there. I love Bloomington now. It's a place which I don't think I'll ever not miss. So yes, it's all about fit. So ask yourself the question that, is the place the right place for me?
Great.
Sorry,
Again,
very long
Sahil.
answer. Sorry.
No. It makes complete sense. And, like you rightly pointed out, even when I, as that admissions counselor, speak to students about fit, just like you, a lot of my students will feel that this is a consolation word. Like you
Absolutely.
said, that because
Absolutely.
X is not happening, we are saying that Y is a good fit. But again, retrospectively, it does make sense. It
Absolutely.
really, really does make sense.
It
And I'm
really
so
makes sense.
glad that, you did feel that you belonged to the right place and you went to the right town. And, in terms of enjoying a campus life, maybe sometimes you find the middle ground, right? You want a campus life and you don't want to be in the city, but you want to be close to a city. So
Close to the city.
access.
Absolutely. 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 Access to places. And like, one more thing is, for example, weather. Weather in Bloomington is very, very cold. Some people can't take the weather. They're like,
Yeah.
we can't go out because Sahil is just so cold.
Yeah.
So again, small things which you don't realize would make all the difference is something that is there. One more thing, which again, something to think about. Some people think about it, some people don't. For some people, they really don't have a problem. Is, do you have Indians at that college? For
Yes. Yes.
sometimes, for some people, they gel very well, and it really doesn't matter for them. But for some people, they have a bit of a tough time, because it's a new country, new people. When you're initially going, it can be a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
kahan aa gaye?
Yeah.
And so there, at least having 2 or 3 or 4 Indian friends who, it's like your dal chawal. So basically, you can always fall back just in case something goes haywire. So
Yes.
those are also some of the things which you can keep in mind. And um, exactly. So
No,
basically,
no, that makes complete sense. Like sometimes not making friends from other cultures could be a problem, and sometimes not having anybody from your own culture when it is literally the first time we're
first
stepping
time,
away from our
absolutely.
home could be a very, very big problem. And yes, something we extensively talk to students about it, and it makes it a lot of sense. And I'm so glad after your 4 years, you've come to realize these, little
So many
things which,
things. So many
maybe you
things.
weren't thinking about back then. And you've
Absolutely.
extensively spoken about your time in the classroom and, how you really made use of all the experimental classes out there and, discovered your interests. What about things outside of the classroom? Clearly, you loved Kelley. You loved being on campus. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about things you did outside of the classroom, which made your college experience so much more rich?
Absolutely. So the one thing which I truly believe in is that college is what you make out of it. That
Yeah.
is the golden line which I really believe in. Is and a bit of backstory. So in class 11 and 12, everybody has this long list of laundry list of colleges that they want to go into, and one college is like that dream college. I really want to get into that college. For me, it was Michigan, the Raw School of Business. I don't know what fascination I had with that college, but that was one college that इसी में ही जाना है. And since I'm at Kelley, you can assume that I didn't get into that college, and I was heartbroken. Like those 5-6 days, you can't have a conversation with me. I was just so sad. And that is when my dad told me that, Sahil, you've got to this fantastic college. It's still a very great, a good college. Make the most out of it. You rather be a somebody at a Kelley than be a nobody at an Ivy League college or a Ivy League similar college. And that is something which struck with me so hard that I was like, when I'm going to Kelley, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to take advantage of every single opportunity that's out there, no matter what, and I'm going to make the most out of my experience. And
Yep.
it's the thing is that it's very like, even when you're looking at colleges, "Arey, itna bada swimming pool hai. Arey, the 3 lawns, 3 tennis lawns, this and that, all of that is there. But if you never go and swim there, or if you never go and play tennis there, there is no point of having that facility there. So you have to make the most out of that experience. And that is the same if you're at a top 10 college, top 20 college, top 30 college. All of them are great colleges. All of them have great resources. So
Yeah.
just make the most out of what you have. For me, I basically, the first thing that I had, Kelley has these workshops. So they have a tech consulting workshop, they have an
Yes.
investment banking workshop. I was like, I really want to get into a workshop. The workshops are very hard to get into. I was like, I'll still try my best to get into that workshop. I like, made my cover letter, made my resume, did my interviews, all of that, this and that, and I got in. And I was like, oh my God, I got into the tech consulting workshop. That was my first thing that I really wanted to get into, and I did that. Second thing was the business fraternity called Alpha Kappa Psi. It is the most well-renowned business fraternity in the United States. And even in my university, there were only 2 Indians who got into the fraternity before, like in like 5 or 6 years above me. So there is nobody who I knew. So I was like, I probably won't get it, but it's a goal that I have and I really want to try. So I'm going to try till it doesn't happen. So that's the goal I made. And I went ahead. with the thing with no expectation of getting it, because I was like, it's probably not, I probably won't get it. And I
But you
got it.
tried. And
I
you
tried
tried
it.
and you got in. Wow, nice.
I couldn't believe it. My friends couldn't believe it. Nobody could believe it. That's how I actually got it.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, the one thing which I would recommend is that anybody who has a business fraternity in their college, definitely go for it. Getting out of your comfort zone, talking to people with different cultures can be frightening sometimes. They are can be overwhelming. I won't say it's frightening, I'll say it's overwhelming. People who have different interests, people who might have different like things that you like cricket, they like basketball, sometimes you don't know what to talk about. So that is where having a fraternity or business fraternity comes in very well, because it really helps you bond with people. And apart from that, resumes, interviews, I have had 9-10 people bombarding me with questions in one interview. So that prepares you, because no interview can now put me into a panic state with 10 people making you getting your BP high. It's not possible for you to get into a panic state now. So there are these different experiences. Business
Yeah.
fraternities are fantastic. I would recommend it to everyone who is there. Fraternities are the party and the social and the drinking part. Business fraternities are very professional, and they really make you evolve as a person.
Yeah.
So that is there. And apart from that, for fun, I love billiards, love pool basically. So I was in the pool club. I used to go to different universities to play pool,
And that's how you
participate in
met a lot of
tournaments.
other people also.
Yes,
That's how you met
absolutely.
a lot of people. Nice. Brilliant.
Absolutely. I've gone for state tournaments for pool, met so many people there for pool. So a lot of stuff. So yes, just keeping yourself out there, getting out of your comfort zone. It's very easy to just stay in the room and play PS5 the entire day. But I would really recommend go out. Just, put yourself out there, because that is what the experience is. And you don't know when you'll get the opportunity to do something like this again. Yeah.
Of course. And Sahil, do you think that all of these things helped you, this constant fight to step out of your comfort zone, meet new people, kind of get hold of your nerves in talking to strangers, so that in an interview room you panic less? It was all preparing you for finally those internships and your job that you've landed?
Absolutely. It's like, um, I don't know how to explain it, but basically every time you're out there, first of all, confidence is a huge thing. And you need to really believe in yourself, and that comes by putting yourself into different situations, that you get confidence that I can do this. So even when talking to people who are much more experienced than you, talking to actually even when I was at T-Mobile, I was interning at T-Mobile. At one point in time, I was actually pitching to the entire marketing department. So this junior who is a 20-year-old, and he's telling this entire marketing department, he's come here for a month, and he's giving advice to people who are 50, 60 years old, who've been in this organization for 20 years. But that is the confidence that you get by doing this sort of stuff, and you put yourself out there. When you're thinking about it, and before the interview, before the PowerPoint, I'm like, what have I got myself into? I don't know what am I supposed to do. But after that, the feeling was like, I can't describe the feeling. It's this feeling of pride, which only comes when you're putting yourself out there, and only when
Sure.
you're getting yourself out of the comfort zone. So definitely.
Brilliant. And how, good or bad, was the experience of finding these internships and, getting your job? Can you share with us a little bit about this entire experience? How much hustle, how much networking, whatever your experience was. I'm sure students are excited to know about how to get that internship, which is that golden word. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the one thing is that it is a bit for basically in freshman and sophomore year, it's usually tough to get internships,
Yes.
because companies are actually looking for people who can actually stick with them and join full time. So they don't want to commit to you in your freshman and sophomore year, because you have 2 more years to run away somewhere, which is why they would rather have you come in your third year or your fourth year, so that they can actually catch hold of you and transfer you into full time. So people who are just freshmen and sophomore, and they're panicking that "Bhai, I don't have an internship, I don't have something, I'll have to go back to India." It is absolutely not a bad thing to do. What matters is what you do in your internship, not where you're doing the internship from. Even in India, a lot of places, again in India, a lot of places, people treat internships like chai walas. So it's a lot of places where you're going, you're not doing the job that you're meant to do. So push yourself, You don't need to work in a big firm like a IBM or a Microsoft. Work in any firm, like, even the smallest firm, but make sure that the work you're doing is work that is actually helping and contributing to the organization. Because when they're going into the interview, what they're going to ask you is what you did. It really matters. And if you can't have those, you don't have those story, you don't have those experiences of leadership, of handling team activities, your internship doesn't make any difference. You can put all that you want on the paper, but if your stories don't come out, if your experiences don't come out, it's like some zero.
Yeah.
So which is why. And like the people who don't get internships in their third year as well, so they have to come back as well. Still, again, the what you do matters more than where you do it. Ultimately, for your last year, it is a bit of a struggle. I will not lie, because visa issues. You have the H-1B visa is something which a company needs to sponsor for you. Some companies, so most companies don't. Some companies do. It's a constant game of finding which company sponsors and which company is willing to invest in you, and it's an issue. But basically, going ahead, trying, talking to companies, talking to people, networking is all that's there. Send hundreds of cold emails on link on Gmail. Reach out to people on LinkedIn. There's no one path of least resistance. It's like whichever path works best for you. But that's how the process is.
Yeah, absolutely right. And, in fact, your point of sometimes working in a smaller company, versus a really big brand can help you actually get more responsibilities than just, bringing coffee and tea for the team.
Absolutely.
So couldn't agree more with you there. So Sahil, I think we've covered a lot of things, right? The anxiety of picking your major while we're in high school. If you're looking at the US, maybe it's not required. How to make the most of our college experience, how to not be bogged down when the dream plus plus dream college we do not get into. We don't even know why that was a dream college to begin with. Like
exactly.
you said, it's
Exactly.
sometimes a fascination for
Fascination.
the way people talk about a brand, right? So we spoke about that as well. The last thing, Sahil, that I would love to hear from you is for you to address high school students, classes 9, 10, 11, 12, on how to make the most of those years so as to they discover that right college, that right fit earlier on, and how they can make the most of these high school years to land up then in the right program, right college, right set, moving forward.
Absolutely. So I think one of the very first things that I think is really helpful is that, since again, in India, we only know these handful of colleges. Harvard, Stanford, Princeton. You till class 11, 12, you don't even end up knowing most of the colleges. And then once you get to know, it becomes, what I would push you is that, if again, get into, since I'm pretty sure people are talking to you, so they are enrolled in the program already, but telling people that, get into the process earlier. The earlier you get into the process, the easier it is for you, the easier it is for the college counselor to actually make sure that you have sort of a profile, or like an application that is best, and optimizing your profile the best. If somebody comes to you, I'm sure if somebody comes to you in class 12, there's not much you can do with them, because you don't have that much time to do stuff. But in class 11 and 12, you can 9, 10, you can understand, okay, this person loves this, so let's go ahead and let's make sure that they're moving ahead with this. And it doesn't need to be your experiences don't need to be something like very studious, or they can be just something which you like to play a sport, play that sport. You like to you're interested in some sort of a cause, be it the environment, be it women empowerment, whatever it is, go ahead with that. For me, one thing, so I FII for people, actually opened my own organization. The organization was called Kartavya. It was an environment based organization, and I opened it a bit late. I opened in class 11, but it ultimately had around 50, 60 people coming in, and we've planted over 70 trees across the city. We have distributed over thousands and thousands of biodegradable bags. We have done free pollution checks and free car checks for so many taxis. We've done lots of stuff. But again, I wish we did that earlier, a bit earlier. I don't know why I woke up in class 11 and not in class 9. But whatever you like doing, do that. And one more thing. I know that this is something which a lot of people do, and this is something which I did too. Don't do things for the CV. Because like, for example, in La Martiniere, I was in the Interact Club, and the Interact Club, you have, in every club you have some sort of a club, and you have this fight for positions, and you're constantly in this political drama to get into this position. And this is with every single school, and this is with every single kid. Ultimately, they do not know how much time and effort and how much brain power you've put in to put that one line on your resume. Apart from that, do something which you love doing. It is easier for you to communicate. It is easier, and you actually have fun doing it. Like, for example, for me, Interact Club, I did it because, one, I love doing it. Getting into Karma Yatra, a bit of socializing with the Matne for girls.
Yeah. Biggest point of attraction for
Biggest point.
Interact Club.
So I really enjoyed that time. The friends that I've made are still one of my closest friends. I still can't, like, those are times which I still, cherish. So if you're doing it as an experience, go ahead. Those are the best times that you have. And those are the times that you actually remember. If you're doing it for the politics and to get the position, I would say it's not worth it. Might as well do something which you love doing. Do some, like, again, any sport, or if you like, I don't know, like, different interests that people have, but go ahead, pursue that. And at least you would probably second this, but a college would much rather have you do the one thing well, than doing 15 different things and try to, just put your hand into it and, fill your entire page that, "Achha, hum ye bhi kiye, ye bhi kiye, ye bhi kiye, ye bhi kiye." Rather than that, if you're doing one thing for 5 years, they see commitment and they see someone who's dedicated to do what they're doing. So yes. Basically.
Brilliant. That's, fantastic advice, Sahil. Do things for genuine interest, start early, and don't panic. If you don't know now, you will know eventually.
Absolutely.
And I've had such a great time speaking to you. I mean, these are things we keep talking to our students about, but when a student who's lived this himself, not, very long back, comes forward and, shares his experiences, I know it drives the point across a lot more strongly. So thank you so much for this.
Absolutely. No, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much. And for everybody who's listening, I really hope you have a wonderful college experience. Wherever you're going, be it the UK, be it the US, be it Singapore, wherever you're going, make the most out of these years. You will, again, meet a lot of new people. Put yourself out there, go and meet new people, make new connections, explore whatever the country has to offer to you, because you don't know when you will get the opportunity to, explore a new place like this. So just make the most out of it. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, something funny I'd like to share every time, sometimes students ask me, how can I graduate in 3.5 years? And, I ask them, if there is no genuine reason, please don't be in a rush.
Don't be in a rush.
Please live it. Please, kind of really, really enjoy it. So thanks a ton, Sahil. And I had a great time doing this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Pleasure's mine. Thank you so much. Thank you.